Hi everyone, this is Jessica Kupferman and I'm here with my fellow badass entrepreneur, Emelie Archer. And we are here to talk about her change in business in the last year. So I'm just going to jump right into the interview and everything will unfold as we go. So Emelie, so you and I met at during our HHB school, Marie Forleo's Rich, Happy, and Hot B School. And I know that for me, going through that school, it's an online business school for entrepreneurs who want to be successful with an online business. But somehow it takes you through a soul-searching. I mean, maybe if it's because you're looking at your target audience, or maybe it's because you look at the things that you're best at and how you can sell the things that you're best at. For some reason, it turns into this like deep soul search. I know it did for me, and that's what created Badass Biz. So I wanted to talk a little bit about where you were when you started B School, and then how it morphed for you.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting because it seems like the same journey of evolution in business has happened for a lot of the people who attended B School.
Yes, I've noticed that too.
And I knew before I signed up for it that B School was going to be the catalyst for my business last year. And so I fought really, really hard to get permission to pay the $2,500, and that I really fully believed that that was going to support my future success. And thankfully I was right. But I just had this feeling that it was going to take my little seedling of an idea and help me capture it and turn it into something that was actually going to make me money. Because I didn't really know what I was doing online. I mean, I've been in marketing for years. I've been in graphic design for years. And I was working at a corporate job at the time. And I thought, I'm miserable. I've got to get out of this corporate environment. I'm so overworked, so undervalued. And the product line that I was marketing was not resonant for me. It was something I didn't believe in. And I was the one who was in charge of marketing it, of selling it, of creating the messages that we're going to sell this product, that I was like, this product is kind of bullshit. So I had to get out. I had to get out of that business, and I didn't know how to do it. So I started blogging, just in general, blogging about inspiration, blogging about finding yourself again after having a kid. It was not a mommy blog by any means, because that's not me. But it was just a blog, and that's all it was. There was no products, no services, no click to pay, nothing.
Right.
And I knew that there was something in it that would turn into a business, either like a mentorship business or a coaching business, something. And so that's what I went to B School to learn, was where that service model needed to be in order for me to turn it from just a hobby into a business.
So at this time last year, you were in a corporate job?
Yep. At this time last year, I was working full-time from home, corporate job, 50 hours a week, blogging at night and on the weekends, and you obsessing over my blog design.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you're a graphic designer, right?
Yeah.
So were you doing Revelish media on the side at all?
No, I wasn't taking any clients on the side at all before B School. I really didn't want to be in graphic design anymore. I'd had a side business for graphic design for 10 or so years, and it didn't really feed my soul. It was like, I can always fall back on that if I need to. And that was the interesting thing, was that in the midst of B School, I was going into B School with the intention of starting a coaching business, of being an inspiration to other entrepreneurs and other working moms and people trying to work from home. And I realized halfway through the course that people were constantly coming to me from within the course, asking me for design help, asking me for marketing help, asking me for branding. And I was like, okay, universe, all right, like, I get the message. This is what's going to be, this is what I'm going to be doing for right now. This is what will be the starting point. And so my business immediately evolved from being a coaching model into being a service model with marketing, graphic design, actual deliverables. And so I jumped right back into that. I mean, I saw a need, and I was flexible enough to go for it, even though I knew it wasn't like my long-term path.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a little frustrating, to be honest, because I was like, I know this isn't really what I want to do, and just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're compelled to do it, you know? And so, but I did. I just jumped in with 2 feet, and I was so happy to be helping these women, these other amazing, inspiring women who are trying to get their own businesses off the ground. And if I can be a catalyst for them, I was like, okay, I can see the bigger picture. I'm not going to just look at the minutia and go, blah, I hate this.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's look at the bigger vision and see how I can help these women change their world.
Yeah.
You know?
The clients were rewarding, the work itself, not so much. But it is that helping brilliant women, you know, jump in and get their feet off the ground, that's like really rewarding. I find that as well.
Yeah. And so I really did get into it. I mean, I thought, okay, maybe I can do branding for the next indefinite period of time. Maybe I can stick with this. And especially since it was enough of a switch in my financial situation for me to actually be able to leave my job.
Yeah.
B-School was in May and June, and I turned in my notice on August 1st.
That's amazing.
Like, the split, it was very, very quick. And I was like, whoa. I mean, immediately I was making the same amount as I was making on salary. And it was like, I mean, that's pretty incredible and pretty fortunate.
Yes.
So I'm very, very grateful that happened for me, so I could leave that situation, which was really toxic. I mean, you should have seen me. I was like stressed to the max. My skin was broken out. I was wan. I looked like a little mini piece of celery, like with no life, like a dried out carrot stick. I was like, so
yeah. I'm the opposite. In my corporate jobs, I used to joke that the chairs had an ass widening device. Because I would literally, like, eat my way through the day. And, like, gummy bears, too, because I don't smoke. And so I'd be like, I'm so stressed. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah.
Stress chewing.
Yeah, totally. So, I totally
I was stressed, like, not eating. I was like, I don't have time to eat.
Yeah.
You know, like, my boss would be on the phone with me for 4 hours at a pop, like, just hashing out stuff. And I was just like, oh, kill me now. My son's in the background. You know?
Yeah. Aw.
It was really, really tough. And so I was so grateful to be able to leave. And immediately, like, this huge weight just, like, sloughed off of my shoulders. And I thought, I can fucking do this. I can kick ass at this. And for the next period of time, this is what I'm going to focus on doing. I'm going to feel good about it. And so that business really blossomed. I changed my website all around per the B-School kind of methodology and really did start to see amazing results. You know, people finding me online from social media and then coming over to my site and seeing immediately whether I was a fit for them. And I established, like, here's where you could be in the process. Here's the 3 phases of branding. And here's why it's important to always incorporate all 3, not just a logo. It's not just about a logo, or it's not just about strategy. It's about the whole holistic picture.
Right.
And so it was really fun. And I was really, really, really busy. A lot of client work. And then I got hired by Rota, who was one of the partners in B-School.
Right. So that's true. It's not just Marie Forleo. At the time, it was Marie and Laura's B-School. Right. It's not now, but it is.
Yeah. And so Laura and somebody from her team found me online, and they were like, I think this chick can help us out. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay. So they set up a Skype interview, and they were like, so can you do this stuff? Can you work with Keynote? And can you use ScreenFlow? And can you record videos? And I was like, yeah, sure. Never done it before in my life. And I was like, they were like, do you have ScreenFlow? I was like, no. And she's like, I like that attitude. Like, that's a can-do attitude.
Yeah.
And I wasn't nervous to talk to them. I think it's like, people always are intimidated by personalities and by people who are internet famous or who are really famous out in the big world. And it's like, they're just people like you and me. And so I think coming into it, knowing that I'm a badass and that whatever I bring to the table is going to serve them and make them more badass themselves, it's like, I come in, I'm confident, like, it's fine, it's easy, it's no problem, whatever you need, I can do it. And so I've been working for her team for the last 6 months, and that has enabled me to start phasing back out of the branding work because it's enough of a stable income to where now I really can go back almost full circle and start doing the mentorship that I really, really feel passionate about. I've had this mastermind group that I've run for the last 6 months, and the women in it have taken off. I mean, it's really amazing. And I expected results for these people just because when you get support, you always get results. Mm-hmm. But these women their whole business models have changed. Like they're totally flying. They're making money online. They're changing their lives. Some people have left their spouses. Some people have moved across the country. Like,
it's amazing.
They've really kicked ass. And I'm like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. I want to help women kick ass. And to do it, they need help. They need support. They need to develop their intuition. They need to learn to trust themselves. They need to stop asking for feedback from people who don't know shit.
Yes, agree. Totally agree.
Just start to realize that, like I said on Facebook today, like, you're the one who has the key in your hand, and that key is called responsibility. And all you have to do is open your hand and take the life that you want. Like, but it's in your hand. Like, you're the one who has to do it. It's nobody else. And that's my message. And so now that I'm working with Laura, I can go back and really cultivate that mentorship side of my business. And I'm starting to get clients from all over the world. And it's really amazing. It's like, it feeds my soul.
Yeah.
And that's really what my goal was to have a business that fed my soul and my family, and that I didn't have to compromise my larger vision. And it's finally coming to reality. It's really beautiful.
So
life happened.
So no more graphic design work. Are you phasing it? I mean, I know that you don't do. I know you don't do that for Laura.
I phased it out. Like, I've got a few clients left, and I'm finishing up stuff. And it's amazing too. Like, once you decide to take action and decide on a path, things immediately unfold to support you in that decision. And I found this to be true throughout most of my life. Once you commit to a path, whether or not that path changes is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. You get support on your space in the journey. And so, for example, one of my web design clients, she was like, I feel like you don't really want to do the web design. I just don't feel like, I just sense that it's not really your favorite thing. And
how does she know?
Like,
how do they know?
Well, because I just didn't feel like doing shit. I was like...
Well, right, but also
I mean,
it's almost like people decide not to work with you, where at one point you were flooded with requests. Right. Now those people are going elsewhere. Like, I'm sort of finding that too. It's just like it's like life is making room for the things I want to do, like interviews like this, which I would never have had time to do 6 months ago, ever.
Exactly. And the great thing is, this woman is like, how about I pay you $200 an hour to mentor me instead? And I'm like...
Holy crap!
Great. Perfect. I would much rather be doing that. I can really wholeheartedly serve you that way. And I won't be delaying it. I won't be procrastinating. I won't be resisting responding to your emails because I'm like, I haven't done that yet. It's so much better. Right. And, procrastination is an answer in and of itself, right? When you don't want to do something, it's like, maybe you just shouldn't do that thing.
Right.
It's not really serving the person who's waiting on you on the other end.
That's a very good lesson. That could be a tweetable, I think. A tweetable. Yeah. Procrastination is an answer unto itself. If you're a procrastinator, there's a reason why.
And I didn't make that up. I'm not going to take credit for that. Somebody said that at some point somewhere, some famous person. Maybe it was in the War of Art. But, I borrowed it. I paraphrased.
They say all art, there is no original art anymore anyway, so...
I know, seriously. There's only 6 plots in the entire world, and yet Hollywood comes out with movies every week.
That's right. But
it's just amazing to see how things have evolved, and really, people might think that my business keeps changing and changing and changing, but really, it's a tighter and tighter evolution in this spiral toward my purpose. And so it keeps coming back, and it goes full circles until you elevate to where you need to be.
I mean, since I've only been connected with you since May, I didn't know that it changed twice. So I knew you as Revelish Media, and now I know that you've changed in the last month, which has almost been a year. I mean, it's been since the new year.
Yeah.
And the new name of her business is, or the name of her website is You Revolution.
That's right.
But she is Emelie Archer Paradigm Fucker. Which I love, and I mean, I love the idea of that, and I love just the punch in the face that gives people when they see that, and like, and the website very similarly is like sort of a visual punch in the face, like break through your barriers, that kind of thing, which is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be interviewing you. But
I mean, people need to fucking wake up and take ownership for how broken everything is. I mean, it's not just the economic system. Mm-hmm. That's obviously been broken for a long time, and we've like been putting Band-Aids and duct tape and like trying to stimulate the economy and create jobs. And it's like, maybe creating jobs isn't the answer. Maybe it's entrepreneurship.
I agree with that 100%.
Maybe it's a different economic model altogether, where it's more of a gift economy, where we value each other for our contributions versus what we acquire.
I agree with that 100%. 100%. In fact, my husband works for a very large corporation. He just moved to an even larger corporation, and just listening to them talk on the phone, like, it makes me want to jump off a bridge. I can't even.
It's like acronym after acronym. Are you even speaking English, people? I mean, it's like.
I know. Yeah. And here I am thinking up like 20 other jobs that he could do on his own. I'm just like, here, why don't you have a bakery? why don't you have like, why don't you, he's like, no, I like this job. And it's like, it's like almost like I can't handle him doing it. I totally agree with you. And I think
the same way. My husband has a corporate job too, and I see him being absolutely miserable.
Well, just the reviews and like, ugh, God.
Yeah, it's just, it sucks the soul out of you.
Yeah.
And I am not willing to compromise my soul anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair for our son either to be told, hey, work really hard and your dreams can come true. But you have to work at a soul-sucking job and your dreams can only come true on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. And I'm not willing to live a lie. I want to make a new reality, a new truth, and prove to him that you really can have your dreams come true.
Yes.
If you work hard.
Yeah. I want to clarify that just for the audience, because you and I both just revealed that we have husbands with corporate jobs, but similar to you, I didn't quit until I could make my exact salary too. So we're not being supported by other people with corporate jobs. We actually work our balls off for the exact same salary, just not
or more.
Right, or more, right, or just would not with constraints of a boss.
No, and I wouldn't have recommended to just blindly quit your job and hope that something will come together, that you'll get some sign from God that you're supposed to be doing something.
No, absolutely not.
Hope is not a strategy,
no.
Right? Hope is an ephemeral idea, and I think that it's an important one for the human race. But I think that you have to take legitimate action and set yourself up for success, because it's like the story of the guy who was praying for help from God, and there was a flood or whatever, and he was like on his roof and the water's raising and this boat comes by and they're like, hey, do you need a ride? He's like, no, that's okay, God's gonna take care of me. And then like a helicopter flies over, like, hey, we can rescue you. And he's like, no, God's got it, it's all good. And then he ends up drowning because he doesn't see that it's all right in front of him.
Right.
So, you can't wait for divine intervention. You have to be your own divine intervention.
Agree. Totally agree. So with the name Paradigm Fucker, I'm wondering if you have gotten any negative feedback from either past clients, family members, or other very loving, caring friends that are questioning the decision to have a curse word in your name. Because I know I have, so I want to know what people have said to you. Yeah,
my family doesn't get it at all.
They don't.
I actually blocked them from my personal Facebook updates, my in-laws, because they're super closed-minded and they won't get it. They won't understand what it is that I'm doing, and all they'll do is judge me and my ability to be a parent to my son, which has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And so they don't see my updates on my personal wall, which doesn't have anything to do with Paradigm Fucker, but I designed Paradigm Fucker to be divisive for a reason, so that people who don't resonate don't even want to go there. It's like, whoa, okay, click off. I don't want to go there. My website is very bold, so if somebody accidentally clicks through, they're going to leave because they're going to be offended, and they're going to be like, oh, no. But the right people, the people who get it, come and they stay. And I have gotten way more positive feedback than I've gotten negative feedback, because people who are going to give me negative feedback don't even show up to the party.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, fuck that,
I think that's the part that people don't understand, is that you are being out there to push away the I've had even, pretty famous coaches say to me, I don't know that I would do that because you may not get those larger paying corporate jobs. And I'm like, exactly. I don't want that at all. Yeah. So, I think that's the part they don't get, is that you're actually doing it on purpose to bring your target market and push away the people that you may otherwise end up working with and being in hell by doing so.
That's right. That's right. I want to work with people who are fun, who are not afraid of the word fuck, who believe that things are broken, that want to shift their own paradigms and want to be instrumental in that change in consciousness that's happening right now. And they don't know what to do, and they want a community to get support and to talk about it and to be honest and open and to be unabashedly themselves, where they may not be able to do that at their corporate job or at home. They might not, they might get frowned upon. And I'm never going to judge anyone, anyone. And I might be highly intuitive and be able to read a lot of what's going on with people, but I will never judge what's going on. And I will never focus on what flaws, quote unquote, are there, because that's not what it's about. It's about becoming the solution, and it's about being supportive. And, I demonstrate it. I come to the table very, very, very honest, very vulnerable about every choice that I make personally and in my business. And those choices feed each other. People like to separate personal and business. And I think that if you don't see the whole picture, you kind of don't know how to take action in your own life.
Yes. I think what you just touched on is actually something I always try to help clients with in their marketing, is that they think personal and business are separate. And they want to be this guy, and then they want to be this guy. They want to act like they don't drink beer, and then they want to drink beer all weekend at football games, and it just makes no sense to me. It's like, just love your beer drinking self. Like, who cares?
Just be the whole beautiful, flawed being that you are. No one is perfect. And I think we have this pedestal making society where we put all of the entrepreneurs, we put the celebrities up here, and we think that they're perfect. And that's why people love the section in Us Weekly where it's like, stars, they're just like us.
Yeah.
They get gas, they get coffee, they pick their nose.
Right.
Like, yeah, because we're all fucking human. And I'm sick of people lying to themselves about how important their imperfections are and not coming to the table with all of themselves, because then you miss out on so much of life. How can you really live your life and have an amazing experience on this planet for the brief time you're here if you're lying to yourself half the time? And, a third of the time you're asleep. So what does that leave you? Like 6 hours a day of authentic existence? Mm-hmm. Bullshit. It's not enough.
Yeah, totally agree. So what advice do you have for people who are struggling the most with like that? I want to break out, but it's too crazy, and my grandma won't talk to me, and because here you have I'm curious, just for my own curiosity. You said your in-laws aren't happy about it. What about your parents?
Well, my dad doesn't get it at all. My mom is
he
super
giving
supportive.
you shit about it or no?
No, actually my dad's a narcissist and doesn't really know that anyone else exists.
That's hilarious.
So he doesn't really, he's like, oh, good, you're successful, so let's talk about me for a while.
Yeah, okay, that's probably, you know what, great.
I'm like,
the pressure's off me. Fantastic.
I mean, they can just turn off my
Let's talk
ears.
about you, Dad. Okay, yeah. And then what about your mom?
And my mom is totally supportive, very, very supportive. She doesn't quite understand either. She's here watching my son right now, and she's like, what's your business these days? Like, it keeps changing. I can't keep up. Like, I don't want to get attached to your business because it keeps changing. And I'm like, well, it changes, but it's not really like it's going from black to white. It's like getting in tighter and tighter shades of gray to where it hits that perfect hue. And so I'm lucky in that regard, because I think a lot of people do have families that would totally flip. Maybe they're really religious and their children aren't, or, and that's actually why I use the name Emelie Archer for my business now, because I am so raw and so authentic, and I have some very alternative lifestyle choices that I've made that are crucial to people understanding where I'm taking my business. Mm-hmm. And so in order to be that honest, I have to kind of like protect the innocent a bit, And so hence Emelie Archer.
Is that your maiden name?
No, I actually was crowned that name in a meadow full of flowers with some friends, and it is perfect for like, I am quite the hunter, so not of animals but of opportunities.
I like it,
and so I really like it. It has a great ring to it.
It
and
does.
It's like I need to protect myself and to protect my reputation and to protect my family's reputation. And if you Google my maiden name, there's like tons and tons of stuff. If you Google this, there's just my website, and so like. It's hard to
That's good.
It would be hard for people to connect to the picture unless they are friends with me on Facebook and like my page. And if they're friends with me on Facebook, you're walking into your own risky territory.
So do you want to expand at all on the name change and how the personal affects the business? I mean, as much as you're comfortable with, but.
Sure. I mean, well, part of what I talk about is how our relationships impact our success in life.
Right.
And our relationship choices. And I think a lot of us stick to the traditional paradigm of the person coming in who's the be-all and end-all for your life, and then you rely on them for every need, emotional need, intimacy, sex, all of that stuff. And we kind of run dry. I mean, at least that's been my experience, is that it's really hard to find a partner that truly meets all of your needs. And so for me, that's meant expanding my relationship into other partnerships. And that's like way outside of the box. I mean, I wasn't raised like that. I mean, I would have been super.
You weren't raised by a bunch of dirty hippies?
I wasn't raised by dirty hippies, no. I was raised by pretty liberal parents, but traditional in a lot of ways.
No, yeah, I'm kidding, right.
So that's kind of a crazy choice. And I talk about that in my business because I think it's important for people to see that I can talk about making tough choices and being inspired and inspiring and going for your dreams, but I can only prove it if I'm doing it myself. And so people need to see that I'm willing to do the hard work to make the tough choices to potentially forego relationships and friendships and support, because being authentic to my dream is my belief that that's how I'm going to serve the world in the best way.
So how hard was that the first time you revealed that on your?
Not very hard.
Not very hard.
It really wasn't. No, I was the most terrifying aspect of it was telling my husband that I was gonna release this video.
Okay.
And he watched it first, and he was like, he gave me his blessing, because I don't disrespect him in any way in any of my content.
No, I've seen it, and you're very respectful.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%.
Honest, but respectful.
Honest,
and that's
respectful.
how I go through my life is with
integrity, lots of
real integrity. Yeah, and so I never feel bad about mistakes that I've made, because I know that I've gone about them with my honesty, with my integrity intact, and with an approach of kindness and love. And when you approach your life, seeing the lovability and inherent beauty in every single other person return to you. And so even when you're going through tough shit, it's like the faith that beauty and love will prevail and truth will prevail. It holds you to a higher plane of existence, and that way people can meet you there. No one's going to drag me down to where they're at. They're going to come and meet me, or they're going to leave. And I feel good about that.
Yeah. So for me, I was thinking more in terms of like when you very first talked about your change in relationship status. Mm-hmm. Were you afraid that someone you really cared about would be like, I can't support what you're doing? Were you like,
yeah, a little bit.
I mean, like, because don't you kind of release stuff like that and go, okay, it's out. Oh, God.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when I sent the email out, I was like, wow, some of you are going to know more about me than my own family.
Yeah. Right.
Yikes. That's a little scary. And I do worry about, particularly my in-laws, coming across it somehow and being like, I had no idea you guys were going through this. Like, no wonder when we go bowling with you guys are really happy and we're not speaking to each other,
Right,
and I think that in a lot of ways our unorthodox approach that quite frequently results in us being very, very happy people is really a threat to others that are like miserable in their own little boxes and don't want to do the work or make the hard choices to change.
Right.
So they'd rather like be comfortable in their nice blanket of naily, thorny misery. And it's like, nope, I don't want that blanket on. Thank you very much. And guess what? You can take it off too.
Yeah.
Not like you have to have an open relationship, but you can can choose to be happy.
I mean, it's not even just to change the relationship, but even just to be honest about it. Like, I find so many people are just not even honest with the other person. Like, you know what? I really like you, but your socks on the bed make me crazy. I want to kill you. Right. Like, just like, people can't even say those things. They're so afraid. That their relationships are so fragile and that the other person is so fragile.
Society doesn't support you being honest either. It's much, much more societally acceptable to cheat or be cheated on than to be honest and have another relationship.
Right.
It's like, that is disgusting, but cheating is totally okay and understandable. And like, everybody's like, wink, wink, we'll help you with your lie. It's crazy to me that honesty creates fear. And that's the other paradigm I'm trying to break, is that it's actually easier once you take the step to really be authentically truthful to yourself first about what you need, and then to others to help you get your needs met and to meet their needs. It's way easier. It's way easier to even have the tough conversations because it's already you've already gone there, and it's not like you're trying to make up a story and then remember the details so that you can come back to it later and be like, oh yeah, That's right. My mom bought me that outfit. Oh, that's right. You know, like whatever
Right.
it is. I mean, it's so easy to lie.
Right,
It's
I
way
know.
easier to lie. But the honesty piece, it really creates an amazing amount of freedom. I think people
Yes.
just don't see it. They're just too afraid to be honest with themselves first and foremost about what they want and who they really are, and then to choose to take action on that knowledge. You know,
Yeah.
for me, once you know, I can't go back. Like I can't go back to and the old way of living and the old way of doing business because I have now been exposed to all of this amazing opportunity, and it's like, why would I shut that box? Like it might be Pandora's box, but it's fucking beautiful,
Yeah.
and it might invite more pain into my life.
Right.
But I'd rather have more pain and more living than to live on a flat line.
Yes.
It's just not acceptable.
Yes, and I mean, even in the way that relates to business, is that I find that being more honest with people, even just in my Facebook statuses, people are so appreciative of the fact that I admit I can't cook or that I hate getting criticism for my work or just whatever. I mean, like, I find that people are so welcoming of that because it's refreshing, because not enough people are saying, here's what I suck at. Sorry.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Or like when you're
or here's
feeling
how
like
I
shit.
rock. Right.
Yeah. Like when you're feeling like crap and you've got a website project, for example, and you don't want to do it, you're not inspired, you're having a hard time pulling the design together, and instead you make up a white lie of like, oh, I've got the flu, I can't do your design today. Instead of saying, you know what, I'm really stuck on the design, I need to take some time out to find some inspiration so that when your site is done, it will really be where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Isn't that so much better than being like, oh, I have the flu?
I have the flu.
You know?
I don't have a babysitter. Help. Yes.
Right.
At least they'll know where you stand. Right.
Being honest in your business is really important, and your clients appreciate it. And it makes you feel better because it's like, you know, hey, guess what? I'm procrastinating. I'm totally resisting doing this. I don't know why. Maybe you can help me figure it out. Let's try to figure out. Maybe there's something about this project that needs to change.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the message is. But you don't have those conversations unless you're truthful.
Totally agree. Well, thank you so much. I feel so elevated from having spoken to you and definitely inspired. I hope everyone else has been inspired by her story. I mean, just in 1 year, you've made such a shift, like professionally, personally, but even I can tell you look different, you smile differently, and you probably even smell different, I'm guessing. So
probably. And I'm like, it's crazy. It really does, to me, prove by embodying this lifestyle and by embodying my pursuit of truth, like everything becomes more beautiful. I feel more beautiful. I feel lively. Everyone around me reacts differently. My child is more, engaged and interactive and fun. And it's like, if everybody was just a little less afraid, we all have this potential. It's not just me.
Amen, girl. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today. And yes, I think everyone should go out there and just kick some fucking ass via Emelie Archer.
Some fucking ass.
That's
Be
right.
a badass, motherfuckers.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.